Addiction thinks in circles, whereas invention thinks in spirals.
Yes. Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
love it. And spiral is not one dot, it's actually one seed becoming bigger and bigger and bigger
Mhm.
and bigger and bigger and bigger.
So I'm grateful for that. And then two, just the pain just reminding me like this body is so amazing.
Where else can you go
Hmm.
other than inside? And
Hmm.
when you're so almost like forced to face yourself, you find lots of love. This is our first time being disorganized. So cool. But we're together disorganized
First
at the same
time.
time.
First time.
After 200 plus episodes,
Yep.
we
Never ever
evolved
been disorganized.
this much. Yeah. Always on time,
Yep.
punctual. And
Never
now we're like,
missing.
yeah. So this one is going to be short, unfortunately, because I got to bounce
Hmm.
sharp on time, but it's so good. I think we'll have so much to say. I destroyed it in writing. Look, yes, yes, hearts all over, underlying. It is so, so good. Um, this is the one where Melissa, I think she said she has 61 and 62, and I have 62 and 63. So I
Hmm.
can see how this can actually work together, partnering with 60 seconds. So, ooh, thoughts.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and yours is in your attraction and SQ, right?
EQ and
EQ.
IQ.
Oh,
Oh,
EQ and IQ. Okay.
so good. So true.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, this one's on the money, I think. Like especially especially the city. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is so juicy." So good. Um and of course, like the way I love the way Osho frames it. I can see your new book behind you. It's a secret. It's just, and then there's like a deeper secret within the secrets.
Yes.
And it's truly how it feels to have a growing awareness of reality is there's nothing to say. Like, so it's like, it's ironic in a way because it's not like you're holding back something that you need to say, like a secret. It's that there is nothing to say. And that's what it's like inherently a secret by its very
Yeah.
nature. And so in the shadow, we are delusional in thinking that there is an answer to the question of why we're here and why things are the way they are. Yeah. It and it's interesting to see that starting point emerge in the mind of a 4-year old or a 3-year
Mm.
old even, and how that plays out. It takes so long. It takes decades to play itself out. Um, and most people never get to a point of letting go of the question. Even in myself, I'm like, oh, there's still parts of me that grasp and try to cling and have answers. And but I notice these these glimpses where it is quiet. And in the I Ching for this, it's wind over lake, and
Mm.
it's just yeah, it's just like a
Mm.
very still, like very calm and serene and peaceful feeling. Yeah, there's a lot to say on this for sure.
Yeah, since we started at CD, how he ended it was really interesting to me. He goes, um, the CD, because of where we are today in our evolution, it might take a couple hundreds of years to get to this state. This city can cause infuriation. And so he goes, We must respect the phase of our evolution through which we are passing and enjoy what lies before us. So, almost like forget about the city totally and just deal with gift because of that frustration to get somewhere and there's really nowhere to go. I
Mm-hmm.
really love I really really love the patience that it invites and slowness in it and allowing it to happen. And almost like your first phase is to start questioning and doubting everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end of the day, and start cracking what you think you know and just being more and more comfortable not having answers,
Mm-hmm.
never finding answers. But the questioning of your own mind is
Yes.
so, it invites so much patience because that's where the frustration is gonna, you want to grip, mind will want to grip on something and want to find the answer and getting slowly comfortable. That's why I think we're, though I was disappointed to read it's going to take a couple hundreds of years, I thought this is happening already. I literally
Mm-hmm.
have a sense that this is already happening. And I always start from me. If I am questioning it and I'm not believing my mind anymore, it must be majority. It's not so. And it's hard for me to grasp the fact that it's not so, that the minds are very fixated and rigid in their own beliefs. And it's not coincidental that we're really combining Osho's work, which is completely destroying the belief
Mm-hmm.
system of the mind, and that you're getting more and more comfortable in it. So I'm inhaling his work because it's so on point. It's
Mm-hmm.
so, okay, I just needed a confirmation that what I think I know is not the truth. Oh, actually, it's not at all what is to be known. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Where to jump in here? Should we touch on the shadow before we continue?
Well, I want to ask you questions. Can I ask you?
Yeah,
Can I
of
interview
course.
you? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, when did you notice that you started, do you feel comfortable with not having answers?
At times,
And when did this start being,
th
when did you start being aware that, well, it's okay if I don't find the answer on this question?
this podcast with you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So recent. And
Yep.
what made it so okay-ish?
Um, Seeing your example was one thing, and then also um having Osho and Richard as like guideposts, not really like to follow them in any way, but just to see that they've seen like the folly of the mind and breaking it down, and I guess just through a process of like experiencing what it feels like to know that all is infinite and that the mind is finite, and like in the experience of embodying that, it's like a little bit disorienting, right? It's like disorienting and um a little bit scary too. Like, okay, what's happening? Like, am I dissolving? Like, is this gonna
Yeah.
continue exponentially from here? Or and then noticing where I grasp and then it like fades away very quickly, or where I try to talk about it, or you know put it into words what I experience and how it fades away from there. So I think just through the experiencing of it, becoming more comfortable with it, and then as
Mm.
we continue, that expands further and further
Mhm.
to the point now where I'm like, I can, with certain people, I can kind of tap into that energy.
So, isn't it true that it was always there? You just needed a confirmation that you're exactly doing the right path. It was always there.
Yeah.
And when I say confirmation, we have this herd mentality as everybody else, so we will. And this is where we often get trapped, almost like to follow everybody else's ways other than our own ways. But somewhere there deep down, you just need a confirmation that you're not mad because it feels very lonely and alone. You don't have a That's why I think this podcast opened us up because we are free, we trusted the
Hmm.
process and each other to be different. And feeling, through that feeling, we were able to loosen up a little bit of a grip and open up and discover discover the inner subtle nature.
Hmm.
So it was always there. The mind just needed to get some confirmation that we're not alone in it. And to me, it's like these teachings are just a confirmation that I didn't go mad because someone else already went through the path. And Osho often talks about you're going to get scared the further away from the mind you get. It will be a frightening fear.
Yeah.
But trust me, he goes, when I tell you it is one step further that you have to take, I already then. So something in the mind loosens up the grip when we know that this is already a path that some sages went through. And this is where the record of time through the books comes in to confirm. So I love that the checkpoint of confirmations sometimes that we need comes from the teachings rather than from the external example of madness and agony that everybody is in. So you're going to be alone. You just have to be ready. And when you need that confirmation, you can always find it, but you're not finding it in the environment that you're in. You're finding it in the ancient teachings. Ancient teachings.
Mm.
But it was already there. It just needed to find right timing, okay, your readiness, enough developed awareness that you are willing or you are ready to change the mindsets, to adjust and modify, or maybe just change your perception, how you understand the meaning of the word that you gave, and
Yeah.
slowly crack the way through it and slowly allow it to actually change you and just watch and just almost watch
Hmm.
everything, how everything changes slowly, patiently. But it was already
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And having, yeah, it's definitely already there. And in fact, you know, it's wild to think about like the children that are born in 2027 and after are going to come in with a deeper understanding of the mass psychosis and of like what's happening.
Mm.
And even with my children successively, and having another one coming, like the peace that they embody it's evident in them. Like you can just sense that they still have curiosity, but it doesn't come with anxiety. It doesn't come with like if we don't figure this out, then I have nothing. I have nothing to. It's like in a sense they're deeply comfortable with the unknown. They're deeply comfortable with not having all the answers. And part of that's like, it's mirrored and reflected and it's in the experience that we curate for them. But in another sense, like you definitely come into the world, um, on one end matching like the morphogenic field, like the greater collective energy and how we're evolving as a species, but also like there's these beings of light that come in as like beacons and they push the things forward. And if we think about it too as light, because when you're in this state, this close to the city, I don't know if you want to claim that, but you feel very light.
Mhm.
It's Osho says too, like that which is highest is delicate. Like a
Mm.
butterfly can be easily crushed. Doesn't mean it's not one of the most beautiful things in nature. It is. Um, and these states are very delicate, and how you how you feel in this is very delicate. And even in a sense, he says, if you come across a Buddha on the
Hmm.
road, then you should kill him because he'll prevent your enlightenment. And this
Yes.
as and this aspect of mirroring is so confusing, and that you and I think, have both experienced this as well, where I'm in this really light state, and you're asking me questions or just trying to like see where I'm at. We both are kind of just like laughing because it feels a little bit awkward. It feels kind of confusing. It's just where it is a, yeah, you said like, you said it kind of paves the pathway knowing other people have gone through it, but I can't help us like push back on that and be like, there's an element of like when you're feeling like you're losing it, that there's no sense that anyone else has done this before because it's
Yeah.
totally localized here, right? And you can't, until you step outside of it, you can't possibly imagine, you have no connection with someone else having done that before, right? And it's actually goes back to this grasping, having these questions answered before we step foot into the unknown. It's like in that process of unfolding, you're gonna have to let go of that too, even if you had a guru right in front of you who's like, this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. You're still localized here, much like a an ego death in any aspect, or spiritual psychosis, or a dark night of the soul. Like, you ultimately will face yourself, and you have to get to that stage. So yeah, so much to say. Still, I'm like still all
I
over the
love
place.
it. I love it. But I want to touch on something. I think you pointed out exactly the same thing. Guru is not there to take your hand and walk through that door with you.
Mhm.
Guru is there to actually, the real master should will see exactly the moment you're going to retract from your next step, or because it already went through the same fear, through the same facing of self. So it will know the tricks, and it will
Mhm.
know how to nudge you to the tricks. And the moment you are to let go of everything in which you're saying it's localized inside of you is the moment the guru will disappear. That's why they say if you see the Buddha, kill the Buddha, because that is the way that you're going to worship that which is outside of you
Mhm.
and lose yourself fully. And I want to go back to what you said to your children, how you watch them in innocence develop and evolve, and they already come with, as if they're already on a much different level of gravity, meaning they're
Mhm.
not pulled back into the suffering and heaviness and weight of what we have, but rather than they're lighter. They're a little levitative in a sense, right? So they're not, the concept in their locality is not where we are. So the parent of a job becomes to remove yourself completely. So you do not almost like get out of the way as
Mhm.
much as possible so you don't mold them back into it, because this pull back into the gravity of suffering is very strong on a collective level. And in this sense, he's talking about the collective. We no longer talk about individuation. We are all participating together, and we are all actually getting pulled by the same shadow, and we're trying to exit. We're trying to exit, or we're not really trying. We're either going or we're going. It's either
Mhm.
up or down. It doesn't matter. We're literally already part of awakening or the evolving conscious, collective
Mhm.
conscious, in which we just slowly start being aware of what is this doing, what else is there, by asking these questions. But I love the questioning, and I love the example, and I think the confirmation that sits in the teachings is just a spot that you stop on, and you know. You're aware that you're about to go back, and you just need to confirm. Something in the mind needs, that's how I experience it. Something in the mind needs to something somewhere, a line in poetry or a line in Osho's teaching is going to confirm my state of being at that right moment, and then off I go, continue.
Mm.
Right. So it is good confirmation for your already nature bravery that is showing up in your nature, bravery
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
courageousness. It's very
Yeah.
courageous to step into the inner world and ask
Yeah,
questions.
the
Mm.
metaphor that I think of is and to be specific, like when you moved from Serbia to the United States, you had to learn English. In that process of learning, did you go through a period where you were like forming the words or like okay, I'm reading, but I don't have full comprehension of what that means. And then but just allowing the process to unfold, like okay, it's okay that I don't know every single thing, but just getting a little bit closer each time. Like,
Oh
isn't that
yeah.
process
And
very courageous, right? Because you have to like, especially when you're moving to the country where you're only going to be able to speak that language.
yeah, and it repeats all the time. I'll give you the example. Yes, I didn't speak any language. I spoke street language how I heard it, which was all wrong. At all
Hmm.
grammatically correct at all. I was laughed at all the time. So you have to face that, which will actually push you to pressure you. God is pressure you to
Hmm.
get to where you need to be. But I'll give you a great example. You saw I started reading poetry
Hmm.
in front of people. I've never done that. It is equally the same experience as me moving a country. It
Hmm.
is equally the same. And then you watch other people read the same poetry. This is the expression of the soul. And I will tell you, do you know how courageous that is? No matter the madness or mental agony that you're in, the fact that you stood in front of audience and that you are experiencing yourself brave enough to speak who you are becoming is massive. An entire audience can sit and laugh at you. However, that's not important. What's important is the courageousness for you to step out of your comfort zone. And I will
Hmm.
tell you, horrible acts as well as really beautiful talents. And what I'm noticing is that in every single one of us sits a natural intelligence, our
Hmm.
natural intelligence that has nothing to do with the mind, but rather than he's talking, it's part of the gift is inspiration, something that is really giggling inside. It's like moving and wants to air, air out. So your work is really to try to find a correct outlet. And I will tell you, there was this one woman who wrote her own lyrics and then sang the song. The lyrics were so profound. The singing was terrible. And you see, but the bravery was what I remember.
Hmm.
It's like,
Hmm.
oh my God, this takes tremendous courage to step out of your comfort zone of hiding, a constant hiding. So you can go and find what doesn't, you almost eliminate what doesn't work. But something inside of you, this intelligence inside of you
Hmm.
wants to express itself through the form. You just have to find the form that it,
Yeah.
it really settles down naturally to you. And it is so good because you look psychotic. You literally look mad. But
Hmm.
to you, something else is speaking already. And for that, I actually cried. Everybody laughed. I cried because her lyrics were so profound. Yet she found a wrong outlet. And then it's just a matter of time when she finds the outlet that instead of singing, she should recite. Because, there's a voice, there's a presence, there's intensity in it. It's like full of emotion and it's so powerful. It's just a matter of time when she finds it.
Hmm.
So good. I was so
Yeah.
proud. I was so proud. Everybody laughed, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. I cannot tell you how good. Go ahead.
did people laugh because they're uncomfortable? I mean, that sounds really harsh.
It is harsh because it was the wrong outlet. So, example, if I start singing my poems, you're gonna laugh at my singing, not at my poems. But
Hmm.
it takes people laughed because she didn't know how to sing, but she wrote tremendously deeply, deep,
Mm-hmm.
deep poetry. And then you have someone else who writes the poetry, cannot notate, cannot citate, cannot quote, cannot narrate.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's why, even in yoga, I'll give another example. Everybody in the class when I was finishing the yoga, I said, we need to record ourselves so you can watch your manners, you can
Yeah.
watch yourself. No, everybody said no. Everybody. And I said, why are you afraid of watching yourself? Look into how you talk. You will
Mm-hmm.
find what you need to correct. You don't need the feedback, actually. You will look into yourself and you will see it if you really pay attention. How you talk, how you narrate. Is your voice lazy, cracking? Are you too loud? Are you too massive like this, right? So correct just look into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And it's not narcissistic. It is selfish in the best way because
Right.
you have to look inside in order for you to be selfless for others. There's that's the inner work that he's talking about too.
Yeah. And it's an unfolding your creativity. It's a dance too. It's like, you think you want to sing, or you think you want to be a dancer, or you think you want to
Yeah.
whatever it is. And not until you kind of expose yourself and put yourself out there
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
an offering, right? It's an offering to your own soul to be exposed, because in the exposure, just like the lake doesn't have any protection from the wind.
Hmm.
And the wind it'll move the water around. You'll have waves on you, but it'll smooth it out if it's rough. So it's like it's certainly an uncomfortable process of unlocking creativity in that way.
Yeah, and what you said earlier, it is fragile
Yeah.
and is the how did you can you quote again? The higher up you go,
That which is highest is the
it's
most
delicate
fragile,
and
or
delicate.
delicate. Hmm.
Yeah, it is, and that's why you need to kind of figure out how to protect it. Its
Yeah.
delicacy, its purity, its innocence, and you protect it. So that's oof, because it will be crushed in
Hmm.
a split second by the collective. They wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even do it in purpose. It's just you're entering into the lava.
Hmm.
But it doesn't mean I say go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it and cry and go for it and cry and go for it and try and keep trying and keep going because this is only unique to you. Ah, how often did you ask yourself why? Why?
All the time.
And how often do you find answers on it?
Mm. It just seems like lately there's not too many answers, really.
And when you do find one, what do you do with that?
I just let it. I allow it to be what it is for the moment, because I've had too many experiences of having the answer and then being disappointed, or having it not be true, you know, over and over and over and over again. And that's the
Yeah.
psychosis, is of like it's like doing the same thing multiple times and expecting a different outcome. It's the same thing though, we attach meaning to some story, even with even with Gaia, with like, oh, we come from like Anunnaki or ancient aliens, or it's like we have this strong desire to always have or find the story that explains our humanity, who we are and what we are and why we're here. And it's like maybe it's all we can say, really. Maybe, um, and not to knock the brilliant people who have done the research or channeled some higher intelligence or whatever that is. But it goes back to, again, it's like it's the experience of unfolding is localized. So while that might be true, or that might be true, or maybe all of it's false, you yourself have to approach the unknown and be okay with it, because ultimately, like, we can't fully know what is true and what is not true.
Yeah. So don't worship, you
Mm-hmm.
know, don't trust, try how it feels not to trust. I'll take step further, anything and anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And coincidentally, we live in the total disinformation modern time,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually really helpful for the mind to loosen up
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah. Yeah.
because I think a vast majority is realizing that it cannot be true. You simply
Mm-hmm.
can't because you have a information that is crossing, going against one another. One day is this, one day is that. It's like total psychosis.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
so rapid.
this is so helpful, so helpful. The times we're in
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna eventually give up of whatever that you read, heard, saw as not truth. And I think this is where we relied on five senses a lot for
Mm-hmm.
our survival. And when five senses fall apart, five senses, just, how we input information, there's really nowhere else to go. We're either gonna totally get lost and go crazy, or we're gonna go inward. And it's also how he says either total destruction or total meditation.
Yeah. Right.
Total destruction or total meditation.
It's so perfect that you bring that up, because I had this just a moment ago. I had this, like, whatever image or idea pop in that was like, you either burn the whole library down or you continue to collect, knowing that not one holds the whole truth. It's like you're in the process, or you burn it all away knowing that not one can satisfy the
Yeah.
craving. Yeah.
And it's true. I was trying to explain my mother my sections. And I have this small section of self-help books on trauma,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first one I will probably give away or donate for free. Take it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the only two sections, and some of them are deep psychology of humans, and the other ones are just the relationships you always want. What woman, what, it's like typical, but we
Yeah.
needed it for school. And it is the only section that I didn't remember anything. Why?
Right.
Because I was pounded the information and I was literally, it was meant to imprint it as a belief. And I'm like, I need all other sections here are open minded, which means I can
Mm-hmm.
enter and I can find my way through it. Give me a seed and I have a freedom to figure out what I can do, I want to do with it, what I feel I can do with it. That's why everything else here is very much opening me to, oh my God, I know nothing,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And I am so happy about it because happy, meaning I don't want to know anything. I don't want to ever
Mm-hmm.
know because the moment I know is the moment I'm stopping the progress or evolution.
Yeah. 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 And I'm reminded of when you were going through Vita coaching, and I'm like reflecting back to some of the conversations we had, and there's an image of who you were during that time that doesn't match up with who you are now. And there's an element too of like the people that we can trust in this process of the 61st are people that don't hold our history against us, are the
Mm,
people who just allow us to be who we are
mm,
right now, and that it's like this understanding that we are delicate in that way as well. We are delicate in that who we were isn't who we are, and it can't be who we are.
mm,
And so, if in a relationship you are enforcing your idea of who I'm supposed to be onto me, it's going to cause major issues or it's going to push me away. So, I think one of the big reasons why we come back, you and I, is because we have this the deepest allowance to be like, who is Melitza this week? And I welcome it because I know that if you show up radically different, then it's going to do something for me. It's going to mirror something for me that I'm not willing to face for myself as well.
mm,
And so I welcome it gladly.
mm. Yeah, and that's why I don't want to coach.
Hmm.
That's why I can't. I can't. I simply refuse. Something in me refuses to do it, to name myself anyhow more knowledgeable about your own process. It's like it doesn't work. It's like I love I love the teachings, which is hugely related to the human psyche. But this is just this part of it.
Yeah.
Tiny little bit. That section. I know the tricks, but the tricks are temporary. If you're stuck in that which you hold on to, and there's nothing I can do actually, rather than just take your money. And I don't want to take your money. We live in a country that does that all the time, takes money on your misery, and actually doesn't help you. What helps is the time itself and your own readiness for it. So I trust the majority of mystery because why? It's a mystical pairing. I can't wait for the next or 2 weeks from now when we start talking about the 62, which comes with this mystical pairing with 61 too.
Hmm.
When your words are no longer authority, nobody is authority. Not one human being is authority over one another. You're almost, if you're not ashamed of yourself, okay, if you're not
Hmm.
shy, innocent, which is the first prey for the society we live in, your innocence is prey because it's so predatory, and predatory in a sense wants to control, wants to be over bigger. It almost has a complex of God, like not complex of God, but God complex. How do you call it? It's like if you're not innocent in nature, you're really not doing the gift. You're totally in the shadow of it. And innocence shows your nature of ever-changing evolution. It's like you're going to change for sure. And if I am not allowing you, and if I'm sticking with 10 sessions, for example, and I'm telling you this is as per practicum, boom, 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 I'm actually locking you up for 10 sessions to evolve. And I can't do that. So I am never going to claim I know at all how to be a specialist in anything or expert. Oh God, no.
Mm.
My heart simply refuses. And, I don't I can't speak on other people actually guiding others. I think there are beautiful souls that want to help genuinely people. And that's just not my path
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. 62, I just looked the precision and impeccability. And for whatever reason, the past 2 days, I was like this contemplation just showed up and I was like, I wonder what words I'm saying that are perpetuating this old system or
Mm,
like what sayings we have, And the one that came up was like saying unfortunately,
mm,
like, oh, it's going to be cloudy tomorrow unfortunately, or oh, how unfortunate that you didn't get the thing that you want. And it's like, and I was like, it can't be true. Like there's no reality in which it's not fortunate on a greater scale or, zooming out. So it's like, I'm actually, I'm actually bringing the infinite down to to the finite when I'm saying this word. And I'm just becoming aware. And I'm like, this is one example. And I was like, let me contemplate what are some other words that I'm saying that are bringing the infinite down to the finite and making it a localized psychosis, basically. And I'm happy now to have a week before we dive into that to possibly look at what are some other things that I'm saying or some thoughts that are recurring that I've carried with me from my teenage years or my 20s. Things that we hear and like there's a lot of sayings that we hear, that we carry with us that stick because they're catchy or they describe some of the hardships that we face and excuse it away or make it make sense. And it's like that too is also a limitation. It's also defining the boundaries of self that don't exist. And so it's like, we often wonder, why are we in the cage? Meanwhile, our words are creating the bars of the cage. That's part of the part of the victimization, the 55, when we're actually free, when we're like, I'm stuck in this cage. We describe the state that we're in, and meanwhile, we can just float out like a butterfly or dragonfly.
Hmm.
Nothing holds us back other than our inability to enter the cocoon, be willing to face our own truth, which isn't always pretty.
Even I think even that comes. I I, I was under the impression it comes with age. You know, that's what we were taught. It comes the later. The 30s are you kind of just chunk your life in decades. Then the 20s are terrible. The 30s are fine. The 40s are you kind of the 50s are. So you have this path that you're going through as per what you were told. But no, even that I wonder, is it really truth or is it really, why wouldn't I accept that I may be also uniquely having my own speed to evolution?
Mm-hmm.
The more curious I am about me and the more different notice that I am.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? Um, all right, I have so much to say right now, but I want to just go back to the narcissism and selfishness, which is so interesting because we are so quick to label others.
Mm-hmm.
And in for the sake of our own defense system, we accuse. We immediately accuse because we feel safe. And when someone tells you about you, we were taught to consider it. And not only taught to consider it, often it will be the fault that people tell you. There's something faulty about you. It will not be something gifting or something.
Mm-hmm.
We lost the sense of soft words of support, soft touch through the words and language, softness in it. So rather than it's just aggression. And this aggression comes in as if you have to defend yourself from it. And you actually don't know, is it the truth or not? So you take it, you absorb it, and you just become that. What is the feedback from outside? That's why I said, if I were to listen to everybody else's feedback, I would be a variety of everyone else's opinions, not me.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And for that, I think, I don't know how you get to the point where you are in front of the door without the crisis. And I'm only talking without the crisis. Why does it take the crisis to enter the door in which you're coming to meet yourself for the first time ever? It actually
Mm-hmm.
doesn't need to take the crisis. It just needs to be the questioning mind and the ability to question your own thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
to really doubt it. But to say, okay, how do I know this is truth? And where is the truth how do I feel the truth? Because, he's really saying is that when you're in agony and psychosis, you wouldn't know that you're in psychosis. I used to believe,
Yeah.
and, I used to believe people, especially people that I'm intimate with or deeply connected with, I will believe what they say about me. Up until
Mm-hmm.
recent, when I encountered a maddening feedback that was not the truth, yet it was their truth about me, but it was not
Mm-hmm.
my truth about me. And I was like, this is not who I am. Wait a minute. So that's why I ended up figuring out from a specialist, or let me figure out if this is my truth. Let me get the
Mm-hmm.
confirmation that I'm not mad, that indeed that's your world you're living in. I just happen to be a fly on a wall you're pointing out at, right? Or a picture. But it takes a lot of effort to come back and question not only your own thoughts, but everybody else's thoughts about you, because people will come at you how with the world that they live in. But that's not yours. That's why I love how he explains don't worship. Why, what, who are you worshiping? Don't
Mm-hmm.
worship anything. Like, why would, how do you, you know, not only religious deities, but also a partner?
Mm-hmm.
What? Why does that make you feel less than? It does, probably. If I put you in front of me, I'm right behind you, which means I'm the second. Why would I? That's not narcissistic to me. It's not selfish. You should be number one in your life, no matter what. And that's how it should be, because only then you enter and you start putting yourself first prior to anybody else's opinion, anybody else's ways, because nobody else should be in front of you. You should be you, because you'll always end up second, and seconds are not legends. Anyway, I'm on a tantrum right now,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well, I think regardless to all of it, if we accept the reality that you and I are not separate in truth, and you're just a different version, different fractal, and I'm a different version, a different fractal, but our origin is, same.
yeah,
United the
one
same.
and only.
Then, and then we look at astrology and we're like, oh, we're all such unique fractals. And so in your experience, you have this strong belief that each person should be their own number one. And you could have someone on the very opposite end who says each person should be last, absolutely last. And it's all welcome.
Tantra.
Yeah.
And also, you see how much of the mind can pull you away in separateness and duality. And I'm also part of it, right? So when you're like, free yourself, it's like
Mm-hmm.
so pushy in a
Mm-hmm.
sense. And that's why what you said is now this connection with beyond the mind is really loosening up the mind's attention in it, rather than it actually is able to relax you into that which you will never understand, that which
Right.
you will never prove wrong or right. It doesn't matter. That which unites the separateness from the mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's super quiet.
Obvious. Ah, yeah.
The secret, it's going back to the secret. Yeah, we can say obvious. It's like it's obvious in a way that will drive you mad. Like, well, of course. But in the moment where you let go of the thing you held on to, it it's madness. And then it's obvious. And then it's again madness and obvious. Madness and obvious.
Well, if an option we chose to be right here, right now,
Hmm.
if we had a choice, right? So, um, right, sandwiched between in between,
Yeah.
or such a rich bite of both.
Hmm. So what are the, good question I like to ask myself is what are the things that I can do that help me enter this space where it's just here and the idea of what it should be or what needs to occur or who's controlling the whole thing or who, all of the
Mm.
stories we tell where that fades away. Like what are the whether it's a technique that we find in tantra or whether it's spinning in a circle, whether it's unpacking my own bias in language. And I wonder too of how much inherent in English language or any language is keeping us in chains of the mind because the way in which Osho transmits infinity is partially through the words he chooses, but a big part of it is in how he presents it in the spaces between and the silence between the words and the way he draws things out and leaves gaps for that stillness. So,
Unexplainable.
mhm,
It leaves gaps to that which will never be explained.
mhm.
So, how do you get um, to that state? How do you come back to self? What are the methods you use?
I'm reminded through what you said that whatever it is, it's going to take courage.
Mm.
And so it's like, okay, what in this moment would take courage? What would take courage is admitting that I don't know. And then what would take courage is maybe unpacking someone's passion about something, gently just revealing, like, you may be right, but what does it serve? Or like, you may be right, but is there someone else who's also right on the complete opposite side? Or how many versions of this exist? Or also, what are we forgetting as we passionately engage on this single topic? What are we missing? And yeah. So that's like the approach, but some form of dance to me, it's like it could be wordplay, it could be the dance with your energy, it could be my own dance, like physically dancing, mentally dancing. Um, it's like just moving, like moving through it. It's not to deny anything or to toss anything out, or it's just understanding like this is just here for a moment and can I dance with it? And then as you move with the energy, you can feel it's constantly changing. And then it's like, how much can I continue to move? And then can I feel even that next layer also is ethereal, it's delicate, it's only here for a moment.
Mm.
And it's just like, it the more and more that we approach whatever this thing is that shows up between us, the more I'm like, I feel at some point I might just explode.
I love it.
or implode or
Yeah, yeah.
there's definitely like this physical fear that shows up and it's like okay, it's also requiring courage to just deny the fact that I need stability and the psychology, right? Because that's a big component of our safety and how we
Hmm.
show up. It's tremendously like the most courageous people I think have ever existed are the Buddhas and the Christs and the ones who have realized, because in that realization, it's the deepest letting go. So
And the
I'm
best
grateful.
part, please continue.
I was just gonna say I'm just grateful for these tastes, these moments. I'm just grateful for what's here now because I don't think I could handle the full Monty. Who knows?
And what's best is that once you step through that door, there's no, you cannot turn around and go back.
Yeah,
It doesn't,
yeah,
meaning you're just sliding.
yeah.
And
Right.
eventually, and I wrote about this actually thinking about us and our conversations. And I wrote about this and I was like, at some point you find a conversationalist or someone, a partner, meaning someone who will understand your process because she is going through the same descent or ascent. And I almost have this like vision of a deep, dark ocean at some point where you lose the light
Mm,
and you're going deep down into the dark. And then I can see you descending at the same time. And at that point, that person will know to let you go to experience your own unique path because there's no more holding. And that's where you become alone. But all the way up to that, you need that. It's not a confirmation. That's where up until then, it's where we need each other. But that's just
yeah.
the beginning of the descent. And then you have this confidence in you that grew to descend further down alone into where we all are together. It's a vivid
Yes.
visual. And I wrote about it. It's at that point, the true conversationalist who understands you at that level of frequency will actually allow you to let go and let go of you. Because at that
Mm,
point, she needs to let go. You need to let go of him as well. And then off you go alone. And
mm-hmm,
that is really scary for people. But at that point, you can't go back up, right? So you're just descending or ascending further and further and further. And for that, you
mm-hmm,
need this spirit, confidence in your spirit or your own conscious awareness that this is why I think we need our understanding, our intellect, which is in the second one we will touch, the next one. It's in which you understand that this is the process and you're on your own confidence to face whatever that comes on your way without having acknowledgments from the outside world. You are enough because your spine is strong to hold you as a cohesive conscious. You're aware and
mm-hmm.
you know the fear is there, but you will know how to face it. You know, it's like Bruce Lee. It's a Bruce Lee. It's like face your demons. Look at them in the eye directly.
Yeah.
But for this takes time and patience takes time. There's no ayahuasca that will get you there. Don't try. Actually, do your thing. I like to pace myself. I really do. I love the pace.
Mm-hmm.
And the more, here's another thing, the more I pace slowly, the faster I feel like I'm growing and getting there. It's like, I think, it's like there's this proportional thing of awareness that happens. Which is very frightening. The slower I get, the faster it is. It's
Yeah.
so, opposing itself out, which is
Yeah.
like
We
land
must
softly. Yeah, yeah.
and we must always remember that the truth holds paradox, or paradox holds
Hmm.
truth. And so, yeah, I think that's important too. It's like the path that seems the quickest
Oh, it's the slowest.
might hold a lot of, yeah. And if even from my few mushroom trips I've done, I'm like, I think this will take years to unpack. And then it's like maybe this idea that it's doing so much for us because it's so intense and it's like we need so much integration after. Maybe what it's actually doing is just like delaying the process when, like you said, we really need to just slow way down, and slowing way down, the paradox unfolds itself.
Hmm.
Yeah. Give
The
it a run.
art of doing nothing.
Yeah.
I do. This was so good and so short and so quick and so deep and so awesome.
Yeah. I'm so
See you
grateful.
Wednesday.
See you.
Ciao.